your side, sway me with your tide. We've got a tempest inside. You're on the rain, thunder, ocean, war.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to almost the last day, actually, if you think about it. The penultimate day here of the Chinese DPC Division 2 Winter Tour presented by Perfect World Esports. My name is Dragon Drop. I'm joined by Snare, and this should be a good one. Team Magma versus SHENZHEN. SHENZHEN, of course, the open qualifier team, but there's no chance that they have to do it again because, of course, CDEC. They are out, and yeah, so Neptune Gaming, they've had not a whole lot of success. So at least you don't have to worry about that anymore, Snare.
Yeah, it's been rough going. It's been a little bit painful, honestly, watching the teams go at it. It's not really fun all the time to see the team that becomes sort of the punching bag. You see the players lose morale over time. But, the sad part is out the way. Now we're down to the wire where it's really competitive, right? The penultimate day, the score is 3-2 for both of these teams. And we've been harping on this entire time about how losing 3 games pretty much guarantees that you can't get promoted anymore. 2 is the absolute limit. Both of them are at the absolute limit. If there's any hope of Division 1 dreams, it has to come from this series, this one game. And there's no more opportunities, right? Penultimate day. After this, last day out, very difficult opposition, so you have to do it here. So all the teams leave it on the line. Very excited about the matchup.
Should be a good one indeed, of course. This is only the first of 3 matchups today. SAG versus YBB and CDEC versus XG will still be following. And then on Friday, we've got YBB versus SHENZHEN, Aries versus Magma, and SAG versus XG. So there's some exciting Dota left to be played, some decisions left to be made as well when it comes to who gets promoted and who doesn't. But yeah, for now, let's take a closer look at this draft. I mean, we've seen some familiar faces. Razor, it's a staple of this patch at the moment here for a number of different regions, I believe. And Weaver, also see that one a couple of times. Birdbreaker, always fun, but there's the Rubik in the first phase. What do you make of that?
Yeah, this is rather atypical across all regions. Like, there's a couple of times you see Rubik. It's generally like when it's a specialty pick for a particular team when they really, really believe that the hero is going to be very good. I mean, we've seen Mian perform really, really well on this Rubik in the past, but it's one of these heroes that is very temperamental, very dependent on what the enemy is going to be doing. Can offer some utility in the game overall in the laning phase with their Fade Bolt. And if they're playing with a Spirit Breaker in an aggressive role, there's a lot of that can be accomplished if this is an offlaner, but I don't know. Personally, I don't believe in the Rubik often. I think it requires you to be just firing on all cylinders. And I think if it does come out first phase, it's often better as like a game 2 pick when you're already a bit warmed up. Game 1, it's a bit risky. It's a bit risky, but Mian has proven me wrong before. So we'll see what he's able to do with this Rubik. And now it makes it a bit difficult for SHENZHEN to go for certain heroes that might have really good spells to give away.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Rubik kind of very much depends on what kind of spells the other team ends up picking, especially if you pick it up in the first phase. That's certainly a statement of confidence, saying, all right, no matter what you guys get, you guys gonna need good spells to win the game, so I'm gonna have something that I can get my hands on. In this game, I mean, the Weaver already, getting Shukuchi is always nice. Swarm, also very powerful, actually, so could be situationally very good. But generally you want some either extra mobility, extra nukes, or extra stuns on this Rubik. So if you look at that, anything you steal from the Razor, probably not as good in that regard, because it's much harder for Rubik to use. Yeah, we'll see what else SHENZHEN want to get together with that now.
To be fair, Sukuchi is like super good.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best spells in the entire game. And with it, they can set up for Spirit Breaker quite easily. You run, you grab a target, that target gets Nether Struck. So that is the one immediate combo that I see. Also, if they get into a world where you somehow get Aghanim Scepter, then you get to play as Weaver, time-lapsing back targets, that's going to be fun.
That would be quite the steal indeed. We'll go Magi, alright. Taking up all the fun heroes right now.
Give us Ignite.
Yep.
You like winning, that's why.
Just such a fun character, all of his voice lines, super funny.
Okay, Magi.
Yeah.
Leaves things open now for a very interesting kind of setup. They could either get the TA, SF. These heroes have often been picked up with Olga in the lane. TA is banned, so SF's available. Medusa's still in the game. There's a lot that can be done with this Olga, but SHENZHEN They come back now for this Abaddon. I love to see it. I think, remind me, which game was it where we saw, I forgot what game it was, right? But we saw this Abaddon from Hara, and I think it was with Medusa, or was it with Morphling? Some other hard carry for Kaikyo. I forget which one it was, but it was like, it was kind of crazy. Like, it was one of those games where I was getting like last second saves, like the Photic shields out of nowhere. I really want to find that one, but either way, I'm really happy to see it, and I really think it suits the playstyle of SHENZHEN, where they want to play as aggressively as possible when they do get the farm that they need. And having Terrorblade and Razor, you love having a hero like Abaddon to beef them up, keep them alive, and have them continue to brawl no matter what.
So they did play it once in a season against Neptune Gaming together with the Troll Warlord. Then they also played it a couple of times in the qualifiers against IG Vitality, Red Flower, and whatnot. So
Abaddon.
might be one of those. There was one against IG Vitality with the Medusa that you mentioned. So yeah, not gonna have the Medusa here, but we have the Terrorblade, which is also very hard carry. Morphling on the other side. Interesting little matchup because if you turn into a Terrorblade, obviously you do get the Metamorphosis, but not if you turn back into Morphling form, I believe. They changed that around. So you gotta stay in TB form if you want to get that benefit. But going the other way, like Terrorblade Reflection, if that catches Morphling at the wrong time, if he doesn't have Manta to just dispel it or something, he could get hit by himself very hard and very fast. So gotta watch out for that. And even more illusions potentially coming out here. With the Chaos Knight, and imagine that to be offlane now? With a mid-Razor.
That's kind of the only way they can play this, right?
Yeah.
The only way that makes sense. I personally don't like CK in the off lane. I prefer it in the safe lane. Although in this game, there's very good reasons for it, right? It can trade extremely well against the Morphling in the lane. You can't really get forced out in that situation. With the backup of Weaver, there's a lot of harass they can put on that side of the map. And Ogre himself is normally used to being able to bully out these offlaners. Can't really do that against the CK. Like you mentioned, it's additional illusions in a game where Team Magma have very bad illusion clear right now. They don't have the option of getting any of the real spirits. They can go Leshrac, I guess, or Wind Ranger. I mean, with Maelstrom into Mjolnir, MKB, you can do a decent job against these illusions, but I don't know. This is one of these situations where for SHENZHEN, right, they can come out of it where they completely overwhelm them in the laning phase, and from there, Team Magma are just playing always on the back foot, and there'll just be too much to deal with. You'll be overwhelmed by just things coming at you. And Spirit Breaker is one of these heroes that hates playing against teams where it's just always coming at them. They love being able to pick off individual targets all across the map. So if they can do that, they can overwhelm this game, but I'm skeptical both of the CK in the off lane, and I'm kind of skeptical still of Wind Ranger mid. I kind of feel like sometimes you get as much out of this hero in the support than you get as a mid, so we'll see. Yeah. But we keep adopting SHENZHEN. We've had all their games, so what can we do? I'm in love. You know, I want to see Hara Abaddon.
Yeah, we're both SHENZHEN Sims for good reason. They've been showing us some really good Dota so far, and yeah, I think the lineup is a little bit safer and easier to execute. Like if you look at Team Magma, you're absolutely right. I mean, all of these heroes are momentum-based heroes. Like Spirit Breaker does not want to play from behind, neither does Morphling really. He's a bit of a better chance than most others because of like the nuke potential, but it's still not particularly easy when you have to like go into the 5-man lineup to try and nuke somebody down. They're just trying to knock down the high ground. And Wind Ranger, same thing. Like it's not a hero that you can easily play from behind. So if they don't own the early game with the Spirit Breaker kind of running around, getting a lot of things done, then SHENZHEN will eventually just take it, just on the back of the strength of the heroes. I mean, it's not just Terrorblade, who is a late game beast. Even the Razor, he can do a ton of damage here once he gets a refresher, gets a double ultimate going.
Yep. We've been seeing that over and over again lately, right? That you get that refresher, then the game just changes on a hinge. No matter how badly the Razor's game was before, suddenly this hero seems just super oppressive. And the minus armor that comes from Eye of the Storm in conjunction with all these illusions that they have, and it's not just like low damage illusions, these are very hard-hitting illusions. Phantasm illusions, metamorphosis, clones. It is going to hurt. And on the side of Team Magma, none of these heroes really enjoy building that many armor items directly. You know, the Morphling's gonna have high ag, but once they start sieging onto him, he needs to get into that strength. and even that might not save him. So it's gonna be a complicated game for Team Magma. They require perfect execution. And still, I remain skeptical of Rubik. But if anyone can make me a believer here in Division 2, it's gonna be Mian Mian, aka Mercy, on his Rubik. So let's see what he's got for us. As sadly, he does get dewarded middle by my new boy Hara on the Abaddon. I'm already hyped.
Well, game's lost. 100 gold and 25 XP for Hara. It's always nice. First blood being drawn, so yeah. Chaos Knight also actually got 25 extra XP too. Sharing in that.
Yay. Free gold, free money, free experience.
Crazy how much it is, even at the start of the game, right? Or especially at the start of the game, right? That's why we always say about Beastmaster and his boars. They were 60 experience each. So if you feed a couple of those away in the first couple of minutes, all of a sudden your opponents reach level 2 much earlier than the others would. They're gonna be strong enough to bully them out of here, so 3 for an exchange in the rune department.
Oof, that is a great way to start the game. You get the D award with that experience, you get the bonus gold coming in from the bounty runes. This is the way to start the game. You already feel good about yourself in this stage. And for SHENZHEN, you know, they have a bit more of a relaxed time for themselves. They're the ones that feel a bit more comfortable extending how this game goes for a while. What I'm really curious to see, though, I really want to see how this top lane goes. Like this mid, we've seen a lot, like this Wind Ranger with the Razor, but here I want to see how this is gonna go for Team Magma, because they need the Spirit Breaker playing from the off lane to be effective in the game. He can't just be gimped and forced out of this lane. Absolutely needs levels. Gonna need a little bit of farm as well. People building an already queued Silver Edge, or might just be Shadowblade for the game, but the momentum needs to come from this off lane here for Team Magma, because it's not really gonna come from middle until we get a Blink Dagger from Wind Ranger. So TZY needs the levels to start the game going for Team Magma.
Yeah, I think there's a 17% chance that they absolutely own this lane. So I'll keep an eye on that. It starts with Battle Crossing. 3 Gauntlets of Strength. Got some region flying in only now, but Courier will die for it, so awkward? Question mark? Exclamation mark? It's time to get these bashes out though. Yeah, as long as Kaiko can farm, it's absolutely fine. We can look at mid a little bit later. Should be more or less passive there. As down bottom. Do you see any kill potential here for either side once the levels start to get going?
They have a little bit of kill threat here from SHENZHEN, because they can catch out the Morphling in situations where he has in a very awkward position, especially once they get more points into Chaos Strike. Kazi can die, but it requires a lot of investment. Like, it's going to be mostly just about trading here and trying to do as much harass onto Morphling as possible. Maybe once they do get a rotation from bottom, then they can, from mid lane to bottom, they can kill this Weaver under vision. But until Drink is out of position, I think that they'll be okay here. But maybe the Weaver, actually. The Weaver's probably going to be the first one to die here. Everybody else feels a little bit too tanky.
Well, but again, with the Swarm online, the Ogre's a little bit more vulnerable than he normally is. He's out of position. But right now, Morphling as well, only level 2. Still holding a point in case he needs the waveform or needs the Adapter Strike to maybe push somebody away with the Strength Morph. But yeah, unless they misplay, it should be very hard for SHENZHEN to get a kill on either of them. Alright.
Mid lane, the
first
board
late
lane.
First Blood Slay. I feel like a lot of these games, First Blood doesn't go come in for at least 5 minutes or so. Maybe that's just me.
Actually, now that you mention it, right,
Oh,
in
no.
Division 2 in China, now it's just a courier key. That's fine.
And the Velvet
Like-
skin on it.
It's fine. It's not like the hero needs any agi.
Yeah,
They're gonna
all
go
because
on
it
in
needs
here.
stats, right? Could have used those.
Nope. Ouch. Where was Ogre? That was a bit of miscommunication that ended up happening there.
Hey, dude, I'm
Oh,
pulling.
gosh.
That's a classic. You know, I'm pulling, and then Carrie's like, all right, fine, and then he dies. Then support's like,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
dude, told you I was pulling. Yeah, I didn't think they would take advantage of that. It's up top, Geico. Getting some extra help here. Also, Stick Chargers to work with too. Could get that kill on Rubik as well with that meta. So,
Bounty.
well played on both lanes.
This is really traumatic right now for the side of Team Magma. You lose out on the top lane. The first meta usage on a Terrorblade is often just used to complete out the wave farm, but the fact that you use it to get a kill heads up onto this Rubik in the top lane, super, super good situation for them. And at the same time, they get the kill on Morphling bottom. You know, that's the one situation that I thought was like, it's a possibility, but I really didn't actually expect it to happen. You know, and he gets caught out, and he has to know this is a possibility. As soon as they got the Chaos Bolts, they throw out the stun, easy kill for them. Feels bad all across the map, and even though in middle they're getting the slight out farm onto the Razor, you kind of expect the situation to be happening, right? Dust is playing Wind Ranger. You don't expect this hero to fall behind in CS. It's kind of the main thing that she's good at in the early laning phase. So if that's going badly for you, or if that's going okay for you, it's like whatever. That's supposed to be happening. The side lanes going this badly for you is not. Especially with how hard this Barra is not really able to put pressure onto Kaikyo anymore. He's already top CS and he's going to stay this way for most of this game.
Yeah, it's gonna get tougher. Even when he gets extra levels, he can always step into the jungle, send some Lucians there to make even more stuff happen. And I think Zabo was a pretty good pick together with Terrorblade, because every single heal that he does is so valuable for TB, because he doesn't have a high health pool, which is only problem on bottom. Okay, they actually finish off the Ogre Magi. Yeah, stun, Reality Rift, and those bugs. It's a surprising amount of damage. But yeah, all these heals from Hara, the Mist Coil heal, are actually so effective on the Terrorblade, because he's low HP but high armor. So all of these right clicks. Yeah, the map works out in their favor on that.
Super effective.
That's my point, and I'm sticking to it.
Doing just a great job, honestly, making sure that Kaikyo is in a fantastic position in the top lane. He's now even allowed to leave this part of the map because they know that right now TZY can't bully him anymore. Rubik needs to be active elsewhere on the map. You can't just stay top this entire game. And this is one of the drawbacks of Rubik sometimes, right? You sort of run out of the ability to apply damage into the top part of the map, and they might actually try and kill him, but Dust shows up, focus fire there. They dissuade Ash, who showed up with a little bit too low of an HP pool to feel comfortable running in past the tower, so they let him go. But you don't feel too bad about this as Razor. I have the Storm, not a terrible cooldown. You can use some of it on the creeps, so it's okay.
Yep. Like to get the kill on Rubik, but Dust showing up with quite an early Javelin there. It's already quite dangerous with the focus fire, so that's one of the things that gives you out of this mid position, but it doesn't necessarily give you out of, say, the off lane. It's very quick timings on these items, and that's exactly what you want on a Windrunner. You need quite a few items to feel really good playing this hero. One of them is the Maelstrom, and then perhaps eventually the what's it called? I keep forgetting the name. Like the upgraded Maelstrom with the Atos.
Oh, the Mjolnir. Oh, the Gleipnir.
The Gleipnir, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
We'll see if he goes for that this game. It can be kind of useful just to set up for. Okay, down bottom. Nazi and Ring just trade each other. Seed does not have another stun. Does have Midas though, so that's very early for him too.
Hey. Midas is wonderful on CK, honestly. You get so much out of gold and experience on this hero. It's a very greedy style of hero. That's kind of why I prefer it being in the safe lane. You don't get punished for going for this Midas as much, but the way this game is going right now, SHENZHEN very happy to play the greed style. They know that Team Magma are going to want uninterrupted time to farm on the small thing, and like you just mentioned, Wind Ranger only really starts to feel good after a few items, so they have quite a protracted window to try and exploit on the map. Ash is just going to chill middle, going for the Seol Scepter. They're not really feeling like they're under any pressure for SHENZHEN. They have the farm advantage already, and it's really all on Team Magma to try and make something happen, but they might not feel like it's necessarily worth it unless they can guarantee kills, and it's kind of hard to guarantee kills with their lineup. And we have to remember here, this is a Spirit Breaker that they picked. He's building towards the Shadow Blade, but right now he's got level 6. It's kind of hard to see who he can charge that he's going to make a big impact on. Any of the targets that he goes on are very difficult to kill. The first big rotation though will come from Dust and Mercy, and this has already been scouted with this Observer Ward. Hara going back behind the tower. He's perfectly safe unless they bring in reinforcements. Very frustrating experience so far this early game for Dust.
Yep. It's get a Wind Ranger off to an early start, trying to use that kind of damage to secure some of these kills. Howard didn't actually end up TPing out, so he will. end up going down, not on 6 yet to the latest either. But that is 5 position, and it still took them quite a while to make this happen. And at the same time, down bottom is also being pressured, so this will be the classic tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade with the 5 position kill cherry on top.
Hashtag worth. He delayed them for so long that they get their glyph out after he dies. So they're actually going to get the tier 1 tower first, even though they showed up with the Terrorblade after the push started in the top lane. So SHENZHEN definitely happy with the trade. You know, you give up your life for the cause. Hara doing the right thing. Sometimes you know, at death, you die, you're like, guys, I did it for the team. And you're memeing about it, just trying to cover up being bad. But Hara in this situation, you know, does the right thing.
Yeah.
Puts his body on the line for the squad.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I wouldn't be too surprised to see SHENZHEN perhaps shift towards the middle lane. And put on the same pressure on that tier 1. And that, or they just keep farming at least on Terrorblade. I mean, it's a little harder to push if you don't have the meta ready to go. Kaiko maxed out country image, so we'll be able to click away quick to the jungle for a while. As,
Easy what?
That's a bit crazy, my dude.
Now I just realized here, Dragon Drop, they really don't have damage on the side of Team Magma. So what are they gonna do when BKBs come out on the side here of SHENZHEN? They have some BKB piercing disabled with their Nether Strike, but they have right clicks from Morphling, Wind Ranger. You know, she'll have her Maelstrom and everything, but how do you bring these heroes from 100 to 0 before any of them intervene? And with the rate that things are going at right now, Drink is not that far away from having the full Spirit Vessel, and afterwards, gonna be start building into the Aghanim Scepter straight up. How on earth do you kill Terrorblade once through the time lapse and make sure that he doesn't get off Sunder from 100 to 0 guaranteed without anybody else interrupting, without Horror healing somebody else in the team? This is feeling a little bit complicated already for Team Magma because they're also really behind in the net worth. And without finding kills, you don't pick Wind Ranger, Spirit Breaker to just be sitting back and farming. Yeah. So this smoke has to kind of work out for them. Otherwise, feels like SHENZHEN just have a very comfortable road to victory towards the end of the game.
This is exactly the conundrum that we identified in the draft, right? They need to get much stronger, and they will run into Terrorblade right here. The charge comes out. Hara is there. You use W though, can't dispel that stun immediately. And Kaiko, they can burst him down here. Ash walking in, but he's also taking a lot of damage in return. Be very careful here. Hara back up to full on the back of the ultimate. So this is like the perfect target they could have gone for. Now it's just a matter of trying to run down more. The Shackle to follow, but they think better of it. Not ready to dive to tier 1 just yet, but yeah, this is what we're talking about. They do have damage right now, especially with the freshly completed Maelstrom on the Wind Ranger. This is the one reliable source of damage. If they have the focus fire, they don't have it right now. In fact, Dust is stunned up, doesn't have Wind Ranger for another second, but he gets it off with the multicast over on C. The charge across. He's in a lot of trouble. He gets bursted down on the CK. Full 5-man lineup is working together to save each other here. Oh, no, what? She's still not dying. Never mind.
Yeah, she died to the Swarm Bugs.
There you go.
Yeah, the Swarm Bugs ended up killing her. Alright, okay.
That would have been so good.
We love to see it. Oh, this is not Swarm Bugs, sorry, the Gemini attack. My bad, the double hit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The end of this fight, that was very interesting, I think, from Team Magma because their initiation was literally the perfect scenario. Getting Shackle Shot onto Kaiko's own illusion. Nobody else was behind him. There was no other tree. If that Shackle Shot fails, they don't get that kill, but they find it. And like you said, the W already used on the Horror, so there was no save available at that exact moment. Perfect set of circumstances. They're able to get the kill, and then SHENZHEN sort of come in one by one in suboptimal circumstances, so everybody else is in a weakened position. They end up dying. TZY, though, might be in danger here. I think he's going to be okay with the turnaround as Dust shows up with assistance. Seed, though, quite tanky, giving Mistcoil and Spotted Shield. TZY gets taken down on the backside of the fight by Drink. He does eventually die, but doesn't come for free as Dust also gets taken down as well. 2-for-1 trade. SHENZHEN will definitely take it. CK loses his life in exchange for 2 cores, and Drink being a beneficiary is kind of a big deal because Weaver items can certainly change this game.
Been doing a surprising amount of damage here, also in that last fight, finishing off the Winter just with Bugs, I believe. Bugs and maybe the Urn of Shadows on top. And kept Seed alive for a lot longer than he really had any business to.
Yep.
that and Hara kind of cast whatever spells he can. So yeah, I mean, you don't want to be trading your own life all this time on this wind journey. We talked about it. You need to keep the item progression going. For the BKB right now, gets the multicast, of course, into the TP out, but it's a lot of damage, not enough for the extra lift back. So Mercy saving his friend's life.
Okay, must be nice. Your homie's got your back, making sure that you don't end up going down. Love to see it. You know, not instead of them just tipping you after you've just died.
Get yourself
see
friends
one-
to cast the spells instead of just tipping, yeah. That's so good.
Instead of
advice.
pinging the map and saying we need more wards
Yeah.
right now.
That was tilts me
Right
so
now-
much, especially when there's already wards out on the map. They know exactly what's going on. We need wards, dude!
And look what happens when you do this for your friends. You see, Kazi pays it forward, doesn't need to be told that they need more wards. He's doing it for you. See? Save my life, I buy you wards for free. It's all good.
Either that or yelled at them in like, they're sitting in the same room, right? So they could just yell at them across the screen.
Oh no, Mercy, he's trying to de-ward, but he's gonna end up dying here.
Gucci.
Yeah, it will tank a full Phantasm. If he's the only one that dies, it's not so bad, but there's no way they save the tower. Look at this army here, drag and drop. My goodness, there's a lot of units coming middle.
Wait until Chaos Knight gets sacked, so hopefully he gets it at one point as TZY just goes in, that's with a couple of bashes. Is that enough to make them back off here? Surely not.
There's no way they leave this tower alive. Oh, I say that, but with Rubik respawning, they don't feel comfortable. Hara's too low on HP. Ashe doesn't actually have a tank item just yet. Went for the first item, Yule Scepter, so didn't get like a Sange. The Ogre Axe only arriving now for the extra tank ability, so they back. They let this one go. And I guess they might want to wait for the next meta. They'll use the remainder of it, finishing out these Ancients. Then they'll try for a play like that again. I mean, they did use Phantasm for that, right? And they wasted a few seconds of it on the kill for Rubik, so good enough delay with his own life. Both sides using these supports as meat shields for their objectives on the map, and it's working.
I mean, Phantasm is not nearly as big as a commitment nowadays than it used to be. Like, it used to be like one of the longest cooldowns in the game, I think. And now it's only 75 seconds flat, so you can just spam that whenever to get kills, to get farm. Do what you want to do. It's already back up now.
And he's so farmed in this game with this Hand of Midas. He's got Blink Dagger, Echo Sabers coming out next. They, on the side of SHENZHEN, one of the reasons they also don't really need to rush anything is they're playing the double greed game. Does he live?
Yeah, plenty of control with the shot. You think so? He gets the Sun Road! What? Woo! He lives! TZY! Maybe not so lucky, but he's juking and jiving inside the tree, trying to TP out. Oh, Sneed. Right on top of him. I did not expect Kaiko to live there, but Ashe walks in with the Yules. Alright, let's get a replay on that, actually. I think it's set up properly. This
we
is
have to
where
see that
he's
again.
farming. There we go. There's the bash. There's the ultimate. He's so low. He's going down to 40 health points, 45. And then he gets the Thunder out because of the Yules play. Ridiculous.
Also, shout out my boy Hara on their Baron getting off the Apophotic Shield just at the very last second to also absorb a tick of damage. Kaikyo gets off the sun. It's everything coming together, right, with the team play there. If everything doesn't happen exactly as it does, Kaikyo dies. Instead, they get the turnaround. TZY dies again, and Mercy dies too. So this gang squad not really accomplishing much. And they're also losing Kazi, but he might be setting up for a kill onto Seed. He does die, but Steed will follow him into the grave. So will this Weaver. Finally, we're getting this Morphling involved in some kills. He's also finally top of the net worth with a double kill on top of that.
Yep.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Needed to start getting more and more. This is okay. Shackle connects with the bash as well. He just after the W, the Euphoric Shield, so he could not walk away from this. So much damage coming through. If they actually get to focus on the target for a couple of seconds, Tycho's next just being bashed around left, right, and center. No Thunder this time. He's just gone. Oof. That is
Okay.
a terrible series of events if you're a SHENZHEN fan. It's going from one to the
Yeah.
next, being just so annoying if the Spirit Breaker gets a play like that against you. Just clicking away, getting the bashes at the right time, just charging and ulting, and you just can't move your hero for like, what, 6 seconds at a time?
Yep.
Give or
It
take.
was sort of the same situation that we saw bottom in that tier 1 tower. Heroes going in one by one. So it starts off with them trading CK for Ogre, and then they lose the Weaver. You know, Ashe goes in, Kaikyo comes in, and it's just, you know, as a full 5-man unit, we were talking about it in the draft that if you play this full 5-man style, Spirit Breaker might have a difficult time, but we one by one can get picked off easily. TZY showing massive impact in this game. And the Spirit Breaker now is on the way towards having this Aghanim Scepter, so he will be everywhere, BKB or no, always active on this map.
Yeah. Charge of Darkness, reducing cooldown, cast point, and making it pierce magic immunity. Is very dead, showing off the shotgun there. Kazi the one with the last hit, but Morphling's ready. He's doing damage at this point.
Yep. He's activated. He's out here. Not always this scary thing with Morphling where he lays low for quite a while and then he has like this 1-2 item advantage. And then once he picks up Manta, after that Skadi just feels so incredibly strong. And that's one of the things, one of the reasons they picked him up is he can out-carry a Terrorblade. Just challenge him heads up directly and force him into a really poor situation where Terrorblade can beat out the whole team, but Morphling can beat him. He still end up losing the fights. And they're going to be really reliant on this Razor somehow surviving long enough to get off a long drain on this Morph, but it's going to be very, very difficult in this game. Especially now that he's got this full Aegis, E-Blade. They've got some help as well with some BKBs about to arrive for Dust, so he's not going to be as afraid of jumping into the middle of the fight. And once his Ags arrives as well from TZY, they'll be able to get into any fight anywhere very, very quickly. Will allow a lot of freedom for Morphling to play all across this map, as they might get the kill middle. Ashe, oh, getting charged, shotgun. Will he get out of here? Nope, there's no chance. Fire blast will kill him.
Oh, way out of position without a BKB there. I think they're gonna line up for Rubik. BKB just finished as well. On the side of Kaiko, not normally an item that you love to see on Terrorblade, just because it's an illusion hero, right? It's only the main hero gets the advantage of the BKB. Especially in this game, right? You still have to worry about the Morphling right clicks, you still have to worry about the Spirit Break in particular just knocking you down. But you don't have to worry about all of this extra burst, or the Shackle, and the burst from Rubik here especially, as he still Shikuchi.
That's one of the best things about playing Spirit Breaker into Weaver, is that once you get Charge of Darkness on you, doesn't matter. No matter where you're Sakuchiing around, it stays, keep tracking you. And they can keep the beat on you, especially with Mian Mian stealing away this young Sakuchi, can chase you down super easily. And Team Magma starting to make it work here. The super early game didn't work out for them, but this mid game, they're hitting their item timings and they're feeling very strong on the map. They're forcing SHENZHEN into a smoke that I don't think they really want to be making. They don't have really great vision right now. They don't really see like a clear path to killing this Morphling through this Aegis, or even Dust right now is a bit difficult to kill with BKB, so no matter who they came across, you know, unless it's a support, you don't get an instant kill, but it's also a support, so you don't get much of the map because of it.
He's being charged right now. Nicely timed ultimate here, dragging back TZY, but still kind of hard to bring down with the Bulldoze, keeping him safe. Very hard to lock him down, and now they have to be on the run. Both Morphling and Dust showing up. They're sticking together as units, so Magma also a little bit hesitant about engaging without the Rubik at the moment. So these kind of plays, getting quick kill, then getting out again. That's also what SHENZHEN need to try and stabilize a little bit. But Magma's not gonna sit on this Aegis. They wanna get something else done with that. At least a tier 2 in the outpost. This is a way of setting up for the next Aegis as well.
Tower is under attack.
Okay, smoke him with it. They're gonna use this. They know that there's no Phantasm for at least 20 seconds. They can get the jump. They have a little bit of vision here. Oh.
A little bit is enough. He is the first down seed from 100 to 0. Guys, 2k health points and they do that. Just zap. Gone. It's over.
Is under attack. The
Bye.
is now
This Morphling does so much damage right now. My goodness. The jump with the shotgun, pretty insane right now. And he's making a lot happen. And they're charging middle. They found Ash. This is going to be a hard kill without more.
Much damage here. Dust finishing him off. Why he just TP's out? Alright.
That was okay.
Making it look super easy now. Like, it's not a whole lot the Razor can do, apparently.
He still doesn't have this BKB. I really thought he'd finished it by now. But he's really been struggling to find any net worth on the map. He just sits there, gets brought down. Hara tried his best to keep him alive, but really couldn't at the end of the day. You know, there's cooldowns for a reason in Dota. And now the Morph just arrives to clean up the tower. They left him alone in that top lane just to hit the rat building. It went down super easily. And Magma in a super advantageous situation now, where this Razor is really fallen off the map. Like, look where his net worth is. Bottom of all the cores. Not really progressing at all. Without this BKB being available, he's very vulnerable to everything. He just can't move around at all in this fight anymore. And this is before the Aghanim Scepter even arrives from TZY. So these items are going to come around the same timing, and suddenly that protection he was relying on, at least having on the first activation, won't really apply through this charge of darkness.
It's quite problematic. To find the fight on their terms. They need to stop being caught out, but this is of course very hard. With the Spur Breaker on the field, but the smoke might help them get there. See Kazi should be okay. You actually got to throw out the stun here. Now the turnaround is there from Mercy. Bit of a dispel there on Seed. Gets to walk away a little bit further, but this is TZY. Ready to go. Ultimate. Back in onto Seed. Trying to burst him down. Still alive this time. Can you reset? Reflection to send Magma packing and get to walk away. That was not the best case scenario, but at the very least, they don't end up beating a bunch more heroes now.
They're coming back. Magma's not done. Magma's like, it's our turn now. Y'all try to get this jump. You didn't get what you wanted. Let's make our attempt. And they don't have great vision either, but Razor's about to wander into the top lane. Ash, if he shows at all, he's going to die so quickly, but Spidey senses are at single. Okay, he's fine. We'll get back into safety. Both teams will avoid each other right now. And SHENZHEN feeling a little bit desperate. Like, yet again, they take another smoke that they don't have clear vision during the movement on. And they wind up in a situation where they almost end up getting caught out badly in a fight. Fortunately for them, Dust couldn't really find a good angle for the shackle shots. So they get out by the skin of their teeth. Ash also came in a little bit late to that fight because he wanted to finish the BKB, which he finally does have. So they want to really involve this Razor in a fight. But the fight might be coming to him here through middle. But it's just a way to say hello.
A little poke in the prod right there. Gonna be a while until the next road, so outside of making these kind of attempts, not a whole lot for Magma to do. So it is perhaps an opening for SHENZHEN to try and establish some form of control here with this. At least not Nages to worry about. Someone needs to pick up the quick and jump. Power will be the one. Some Mindbreaker being dropped, also very nice.
Nice neutrals. Ah, finally. CK is finally building BKB. It honestly doesn't feel like the CK is quite farmed, but it doesn't fully feel like he got such an early hand of Midas, right? Because the Midas came quite quickly, but the progression, this mid game has been rough for Seed. 4 deaths on the bounce. Hasn't really been able to find all that much on the map that's effective for himself, but with this BKB, things start to turn a little bit because he's also been struggling a little bit against the shotgun. As we saw in that last kill, he died from 2,000 to 0. It was very difficult. Now, the only hero right now that feels like he could survive through that with BKB is the Terrorblade. Everybody else on SHENZHEN feeling it's a little bit squishy, but at least Ash as well has some protection. But Team Magma are going again. They don't want to let go of this advantage. They want to keep this train going.
That was a quick charge, and then he walks away, and there's nothing good to do about it. It's a charge as well from the Morphling out. It's a lot of trouble. So is Ash here, check it together. So much burst there between the 2 of the BKB. TZY will fall though, as Terrorblade sounds to right click too, but his friends are falling left, right, and center. Seed won't be joining, the rest of them walking away. Now the charge back in onto Kaiko, not in time. Gets his BKB TP out, forcing it done. Mercy stole the Chaos Bolt.
Oh, wow.
Taiko gets to live, but the rest of his team is DED dead. TCY? Okay, yeah, that would be a little bit crazy still, but damn. Taiko was
This
doing damage,
Morphling.
but not enough to kill him more quickly.
Yeah. This Morphling, did you see this charge, like the double charge from him with the Agnum Scepter, going through these BKBs,
Yeah.
just getting onto the backline super quickly, and he's also been activating Bulldoze during it, so it's quite a lot of, not just damage, but difficulty in controlling this hero up. He just sits there, like unable to be brought down. You stun him, doesn't really matter. Just so strong. Morphling right now, big boy on the block. Super far ahead, and we were talking about how he can outcarry this Terrorblade. He's outcarrying the whole game, just pretty much by himself with all this damage. 6k in that one fight. I can't wait to see his stats after the game is over.
Yep.
And SHENZHEN, they're in this position right now where nobody can survive against this burst that the Morphling's bringing out. It happens so quickly.
Yeah.
Also has a Titan Sliver, probably one of the best heroes in the game to have this as the neutral item they pick up. So as soon as the fight starts, just instantly a hero's dead, and TCY is going in again.
He's trying to get the open up, and he does with a decent amount of health. Bring down the Ogre. Instant buyback is there. Not sure when Roshan will be back up, but it'll be a little while. This is not completely over just yet, but it kind of depends on Magma not being able to get that damage out, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, everyone has BKBs inside SHENZHEN, and I think they kind of needed this game because there's just so much control that they need to dodge them a chance. But it's not going to helping them against the damage. It's going to help them against Spirit Breaker, and the second Spirit Breaker is just going straight into the mix, and the waveform back out. Classic. Classic.
Does need to still be a little bit careful though. Now that Taiko does have access to the Sarascati, it's not a free kill anymore. So you need to be careful with the footing. The whole team isn't there. It's still not the safest place to be. And Team Magma, they get the Sages. This game really becomes quite difficult for SHENZHEN. They can get stopped though. All the ultimates are available for SHENZHEN. They're coming over, but it's a little bit too late. This Roshan is dying too fast. Morphling has too much damage. Dust as well. Very close by to assist. So we have this Aegis now with this Aghanim Scepter, E-Blade, Manta, 4k gold, a Titan Sliver, level 22. Morphling super far ahead. And Team Magma, they've created all the space they need, and Morphling can carry them through this part of the game. Doesn't really care about this burst anymore from the side of SHENZHEN with the physical damage. Has more than enough armor to tank through all of it. Buying Satanic as well, so he can just right-click himself through it too. And this game, like you said, provided they don't make any big mistakes, which will be quite difficult to make right now with how strong this Morphling is, they should be able to walk away with the game. And SHENZHEN, they sort of missed their window. There was an opportunity they had where they were super far ahead. They could have fought pretty much anybody except for this Morphling, but weren't able to really connect on any of their smokes. They didn't go for the super early BKBs, and also, without this Aghanim Scepter on this Weaver, everybody else is just dying too quickly to the Morphling. They don't have a reliable way to protect themselves. Hara can only do so much by himself on this Abaddon.
Dyer's bottom
Another thing though, Cardi's got an 11 multicast streak right now. 12.
Dyer's bottom tower is no
Not gonna move my camera from him until he gives it.
Alright, come on, Kazi.
It's very important. Because I know from a friend of mine who's also got the Ogre Arcana, who likes to play Ogre.
Dyer's bottom tower
It was super hard for him to get any points. Yeah, look at this.
Oh,
1 to
what?
13. There we go. I think that was the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you get them when you have 10 in a row, and then anytime what you get on top of that, you also get a point. It's not just, oh yeah, you've got 10 in a row, now that's 1 point. But if you get 14 or 13 like you did there, you get 4 points.
So
But it's still very
Kazi's
hard.
climbing
Like,
the
it's
ranks
quite
right now.
unlikely to get that in a row in the first place. You know? But hey,
So basically, you're saying that we should ask Kazi what the lottery numbers are for the day?
basically. Maybe that or his rituals for praying to the RNG gods.
You know who needs some good RNG here? Right now, SHENZHEN need a great neutral item.
Yeah.
On the next tier, or at the very least, they need Team Magma to have Morphling, AFK, somewhere on the map by himself, not getting caught out. But they're catching them top. Look at the TVYs, my gosh. Okay, they're
Call
gonna
the
drag him back,
police,
though, but I'm
way
not
too
sure they have enough
fast.
damage to kill him.
Yeah, Bulldogs just makes an incredible yard. BKB as well. Ash actually zapping away quite a bit, but they're already TPing out. They're just TPing out and die. No way out. So fast.
That
How's
talent,
that
dude. It's actually even funnier when you look at it on the mini-map.
Yeah.
When you see how fast it's
SHENZHEN not die. I will put an arrow then. Not this weird blob. See how much movement speed
This is a-
he gets.
This is a bit unfair though, honestly, like just how quickly they can move across this map. Windrunner has Blink Dagger, Windrun. She should build into Aghanim Set or maybe just get it for free from Roshan and get the double Windrun, but for now she's going for the Nullifier. Double Spirit Breakers. One Spirit Breaker has practically max movement speed. The other one is just coming at you with max damage. This feels a little bit rough to be anywhere on the map right now unless you're inside your base, but even the base isn't safe here, Drag and Drop.
It really isn't. Game lagged out for just quite a quick moment. As Weaver dies too fast for the handle now. Extra control over on the chaos. Double shackle here. Hara gets himself back out of it. TZY kind of low. Ash trying to run him down. Unable to do so. The ultimate not enough to finish him off. And the bashes. Control to finish him. So Weaver's
It's a buyback.
second life. He's dead as well. No chance. I mean, what point do you just call it though? I mean, it's still a Geico. With a buyback on Ash. But how do you even start to engage into this fight? You don't.
Yeah, they agree with you. You don't. They just call the G's. It is a GG situation. They're just too strong. Kaikyo can't stand his ground. We saw Ash in that last fight running in, getting the drain off onto the Spirit Breaker, getting a legitimate amount of damage out, but he's so far behind on farm that he just can't survive just mere right clicks. And it doesn't matter if you have a BKB or not, if you don't have the armor or the HP to survive this Morphling hitting you. This Siege CK, without the access to the BKB, just literally could not do anything. Showed up to the fight, instantly gets bursted down. Even just the charge, not even targeting him, just on the side, like puts him in a situation where he can't move, gets stun locked, dies immediately. Just rough game overall. At the end of the day, like it felt good at the beginning for SHENZHEN. Their laning phase looked so solid. They got the early kills. Their first rotation seemed like it was going to work out for them, and the game was legitimately looking good. But in the mid game, they sort of fell apart. I don't even know where was like the key moment that changed, right? But it really felt like that one big fight that they sort of took bottom where Kaikyo died, where they get ganked, everybody just goes in one by one by one. It happens like, twice in that 5-minute period where they take bad fights. You lose everything in that situation, and it's worse than just losing everything, but you're also losing time. Time which the Morphling is most of the time just spending farming away, getting bigger and bigger, and there's a reason why they picked this Morphling into the Terrorblade matchup as the 10th overall pick.
Yeah. Just ridiculous amount of damage, despite being the first blood that we just saw again in the highlights. But yeah, I think this was the I don't know. This was one where he barely survives.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point
That
it
was awesome.
just ended. We're just unable to withstand the amount of damage output, not just coming in from the Wolfling, but also Dust doing his thing, and especially Spirit Breaker. You gotta flag that one out. This just so much control that he gives, charging across the entire team fight, and then the follow up with the tiny bashes and the ultimate. Like it's all of that made it so that you couldn't even play your heroes in these fights. I mean, look at Ash. It's down below half health before he even gets to move. Before he gets to cast any spells. You know, that is true for any of these heroes here, really. And the shackles on top of that. I mean, even he pops BKB and he instantly dies. It's just so much physical.
Damage.
It's ridiculous.
And honestly, there's a reason why all these highlights that we've seen, so many of them involve the Spirit Breaker Charge of Darkness, either from Morphling or from Spirit Breaker himself. It's just so crazy, so much control like you're mentioning, but also so much vision that it was giving the team and enabling them to do practically whatever they wanted. Seed also really think they should have prioritized the early BKB after Echo Saber. They tried to take some fights before they had the BKB ready, and it kept getting delayed until they eventually gave up on building it. And you get to those points in this kind of game where this keeps happening to you. By the time you get that item, you can't get anything else, and you don't have no tank ability. So they're not surviving any of these fights. And just look at this. You can't move even inside the BKB once they get the Aghanim Scepter on both the Morphling and this young Spirit Breaker. The game just ends. So all the overwhelming damage. MVP. I have. You know what? I was skeptical about the Rubik. I'm not sure I'll go as far as to say it's MVP, but it did really do quite well.
Yeah,
Yan. Yeah, it opened up a lot of space, I think, on the map.
Yeah, he set up for a lot of these kills as well. Just the initial lift into the charge that we were talking about in the draft, actually, was making sure that there was no counterplay a lot of the times. So I would have still given it to TTY overall because not all of these were just these kind of setups. But yeah, I mean, my man did its job. But yeah. Game number 1, Magma dominates in convincing fashion. So they knew what the draft could do, and they did it. Not worried at all like we were. So SHENZHEN, they need to find a solution. They need to try and come up with something to break this team, which could seem kind of hard, but we'll see if they can do it. Yeah, for now, we're going to take a quick break. See you in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are just about to head into the draft for game number 2 already here between Team Magma and SHENZHEN. And game number 1 was quite the display. Like, Magma really understood their lineup, and they... I don't know, it felt like they did more damage than they really should have.
Yeah.
So, I don't
You
know. It felt really strong.
We were worried about whether or not they'd have the momentum to keep that kind of draft going, because it was like this draft has pressure, has the potential to be able to apply a lot of damage on the map, but you have to be able to do it and execute it, and it's a bit difficult. They made it look super easy. There was no problem for them at all, running around the map, bursting targets like they were doing it for fun. It was wonderful to see them do it, wonderful to see how well, like you said, they understood their draft. And you always have confidence in a team that shows that understanding, because it means they can probably play a lot of different styles of drafts. It wasn't simply a case of everyone's on comfort heroes, although there were some comfort heroes, but it was more a case of utilizing the heroes to their best degree. And it was great to see. At SHENZHEN, they now have to pull out all the stops if they want to try and get a victory here, because it's their last chance for a potential to get into upper division. Division 1 beckons, but only for the winner here to stay in contention to get there.
To get their hands on a mask now with the first pick not being banned out this time. It's not necessarily a hero that they run every time, but it's a hero that Magma runs every time they can get their hands on. So if you're not gonna ban it, you probably should take it yourself. So makes a lot of sense. It's also, like we talk about time and time again, there's a reason that this is a staple pick. It's because he gives you a very stable lane, and he gives you a very strong teamfight and initiation, and a decent amount of damage output as the game goes on. So it's not a free win by any means, but it's a good base to work a draft around.
Look at this. Team Magma still sticking with their Rubik. Oh man, it happened again. Dragon Drop was about to mention Snapfire, but it happened again. It is what it is. SHENZHEN, they get their combo going. I do prefer this with the Dark Willow nowadays, but Snapfire, I will prefer Snapfire also with Tide rather than the other direction, but still amazing duo together, can be a very strong lane, lots of magic damage, lots of setup. Team Magma though, Rubik Abaddon, from what we saw in the last game, Mercy just did the most on this hero. Obviously won't have Sakuchi, which made his game a lot easier honestly, and doesn't have the setup for Spirit Breaker, because SHENZHEN, they say nope, not happening today. And I like the fact that for SHENZHEN, they still have a little bit of versatility to go deeper into the draft. The Snapfire could be a 4 or 5. For Team Magma, it is a little bit clear what their support duo is going to be doing. So for SHENZHEN, it's a little bit easier to draft now, especially when you don't have last pick. You love to know exactly what the lanes are going to look like to make it easier to sort out your core matchups, so you don't get overwhelmed in the early game. And they need to make sure as well, I think, for SHENZHEN, that they don't run into the same situation as last game, where this mid-game hits, but because of itemization or something, you don't have the ability to fight. Now they make sure that no matter what, just with our raw skills, we can always fight on the map.
Yeah. It's a very powerful option to have. You know, just press your buttons and then you're gonna get a kill more often than not. There's some really good counterplay, a bunch of BKBs already online on the other side. Right? Yeah, let's see some of these bans coming out. Respect ban on the Morphling. Makes sense. No Viper, no Batrider, very annoying heroes to play against. Perhaps setting up for a pretty good mid hero. Perhaps a Kunkka, just add more damage into, or more control, more team fight. A bit more damage. Something worth keeping in mind for later. But for now, Magma, they've got the supports, you would think, unless they want to run the ABBA and a core role.
Quite unlikely. I guess they will rely on Abaddon as the backup for TA. We don't know if this is going to be mid TA or safe lane TA, and Team Magma might not know themselves. They have last pick, which they could reserve for any of the players depending on what the matchups look like. Normally we've seen this TA really emerge in situations where the team just definitely needs physical damage, so obviously now with the support duo already being revealed, they set up a lot, but they don't necessarily kill heroes. And Team Magma want to be able to pick a draft that can use that setup. You know, the window that Rubik gives you with the lift, you don't want to have a hero that can't really catch up and get the kill quickly. TA can definitely do that. If it is a safe laner, it can play against Mars. If it's a mid laner, you get going on the map really, really quickly. And we saw in the previous game that Dust did a really good job of transitioning from that laning phase into a very powerful mid game without sacrificing his farm potential. And TA definitely can be a specialist from that position. And here we go, Dragon Drop, your favorite hero. It's Void Spirit.
Alright, I'm gonna predict right now that this is gonna be a 2-0 for Magma. I mean, I've legit not seen Void Spirit win in the last few months. I mean, I'm sure he has, I just have not watched those games. You know, it's just like, I don't know. The moment you start falling behind, you just don't do enough, you know. You have a bit of control, you're very escapable, but you don't do any damage, right? You can't help kill people off, and that's only the way that you can get back into the game, you know, get pickoffs here and there, just establish map control on the back of that. But if you can't do that, if all you can do is run away, then that's not going to bring you forward.
Yeah.
Especially
In this
against
game, they
Ember Spirit. Like,
at
Ember Spirit
least
is
have a
still-
little bit of backup.
Yeah. I mean, Ember is the better Void Spirit
They've
in
got
many
this
ways. I think.
Grimstroke, you know.
Yeah, but there's no Grimstroke combo either, right? That's the other thing that I'm very concerned about always when I see a Grimstroke, but there's no big combo just yet. Or even just a small combo, right? There's no single target spell on any of SHENZHEN's heroes.
Yeah, this game they're going to be relying mostly on Inkswell, I think. So when Voidspirit gets forward, either him or Mars, once he gets the Blink Dagger, utilizing that Inkswell to set up for more. They have a lot of like small combos that they need to set up on the side of SHENZHEN. Them getting kills isn't a very straightforward affair here. They don't have much burst damage. The Morty's Kisses is their biggest source of it in the midst of their team fights. So they need pretty much everything to land perfectly on these heroes. And Team Magma is not easy targets to go on either. TA's got the Refraction to protect her, Ember Spirit's got his Flame Guard, Abaddon's going to be backing them both up. Rubik with the Fade Bolt as well, reducing some of the damage output. And SHENZHEN, right now, they don't have any physical damage, practically. We still don't see what's going to be played in the safe lane by Kaikyo. Does really feel like they're going to have an overall lack of damage. Lots of setup, lots of ways to start fights, but ultimately finishing them becomes harder and harder as this game goes on. And it's not like in game one where Team Magma still have this TZY Spirit Breaker that creates a lot of space and has option to scale super hard through BKBs. At some point, SHENZHEN, unless this game goes perfectly and they keep fighting, brawling as often as Magma is able to do successfully, does feel like they're going to get out-farmed here by TA Ember Spirit, who eventually start out-fighting you, because they have a lot of damage in quick instances here, both physical and magical on the side of Team Magma.
Yeah, especially with the Ember Spirit. Like, if you look at all the control that SHENZHEN have, Snapfire Cookie, Grimstroke, Inkswell, Mars Spear, all of those are more or less telegraphed, so there's room for Ember Spirit to dodge that out, either with the Remnants or even just with the Sleight of Fist, depending on the situation, right? Similar thing for the Void Spirit if he doesn't have a Yule to set up for his Remnant. So, even though there are some stuns, they're not instant single target stuns, right? So Ember Spirit can play around them, and even if he doesn't, there's still an Abba behind him. You know? So there's definitely room to maneuver for Team Magma, and to get to that point where both Ember and TA are very, very scary and very dangerous. And again, if they miss that timing, like especially on TA, it's also kind of a very momentum-based hero. If you get off to a good start, you get your maybe Dragonlance Desolator or Blink Desolator, depending on what you want to go for. You can do a ton. You're also gonna need a BKB in this game, just for the Snapfire ult that'll eat through Refraction otherwise. I mean, there's a way for SHENZHEN to play this, but not if they fall behind. I think it's the long and short of it.
They can hunt the TA in the jungle quite a lot in this game. It's possible for them to do. It is possible for them to isolate TA from Abaddon. They have the tools to do it. You know, you can keep Abaddon quite busy. You got Phantom's Embrace as well, which does feel like a very good spell in this game. No instant silence, but if they get any of their spells off, they can chain them into a lot of the other ones. And they go for an old special here. Old Faithful. We've seen this before from them. Kaikyo, Wraith King. When they're in a troublesome situation, they go for him, putting themselves at the very least in a position where you can scale with the hero. You have somebody with a lot of physical damage, which they were really lacking beforehand. Now they have a way to take advantage of some of the negative armor given by the Fire Snap Cookie. It's another Inkswell target with Blink Dagger, which they needed somebody who could also get forward And big thing, it's a hero that can challenge both TA and Ember Spirit in the latter portions of the game. And it was a bit of problematic beforehand that they were super reliant on perfect execution. Now, at the very least, they can rely a little bit on farm. But Team Magma, well done on them. They leave the TZY hero for last. They pick up the Tidehunter, be very bothersome in their laning phase versus the Wraith King, give them some huge team fight, which they were kind of lacking beforehand on the side of Team Magma. And of course, make sure that they have a very good combo for the Ember Spirit. Ravage into Remnants forward. Very easy to be able to kill a hero, no matter who it is. In this game, Wraith King will die twice, several times, because they have very easy ways on the second life of killing you. TA, when she's allowed to set up and just be right next to you, not a very happy place to be for this Wraith King. So, love this Tidehunter pick. Wraith King, probably one of the better options they could have gone for SHENZHEN, but the way the draft is looking before, it's a difficult game. It's a hard one. It's a hard one for them.
It is a bit indeed, but yeah, I like Wraith King here. It's one of the. It's a pretty strong hero, right? It's one of these carries that even if the lane doesn't go particularly well, and it's not gonna be like you don't. There's some lanes where you can get some really good kill potential out of the Skellies because they do a good amount of damage early on. Not against Tidehunter though, because you can get rid of them very easily. So not a big problem though, because you can always just save them up and send them into the jungle and farm up there. So you have this reliable farming tool, you're gonna get your net worth, you have that inbuilt Aegis, which is very powerful. Yeah, also once again a hero that if it falls behind, it gets a lot tougher to play him. Right?
Yeah. Yep,
So we'll
definitely.
see how that goes.
Prepare for
These
Also,
are
in
neat
this
items
game,
in this game.
one funny thing about Wraith King, of course we're in game right now on our own clients, so we will not have this issue, quote unquote. But might switch to the clean feed just a little bit later, just to show you. But if you watch a Chinese Dota stream and you see the skeletons, they're not actually skeletons; they're like zombies, like tombstone
Oh, yeah.
zombies. So
One of the
we'll
funniest
see if we
things
can
in the
show that
world.
later. Because China has some weird thing about skellies, you know, they don't like them.
There are some issues with them being displayed.
Yeah.
Some of the changes that gets just made to the clients are kind of funny, honestly. Like I know Lion at some point, like there was one of the aesthetics that they changed that wasn't allowed in China. It's super weird. But hopefully we will get to see that highlights at some point with these Skellies. And speaking of the Skellies, they're setting up for a potential gank here, but the intuition is on here from this Ember Spirit. And look at the change up. Dust is actually the one that's playing TA. Not sure if they're going to be playing this TA through the mid lane and Ember Spirit safe lane, but they could also just switch up the player roles directly. Let's see.
ladies
No.
and gentlemen.
Nice.
I was so ready to go, like, oh god, they're gonna spot. No. They decided not to kill him. Merciful souls that they are.
Okay.
3-for-1 bounties though again. How?
Okay. They just did it. They just ran and took the bounties.
There was 4 of them on the top room spot, like what? How did Magma not get that? Very confused.
Hard
Alright,
work and dedication.
yeah,
That's how.
absolutely. Alright, game 2. SHENZHEN get some extra points on the board.
One thing I'm curious about here in this game here, Dragon Drop, is because they are playing this Ember Spirit in the safe lane instead of TA, they are gonna have the TA matchup versus Void Spirit middle, which can get a bit rough for the Void Spirit as time goes on. You have far fewer options here than you would against the Ember Spirit. And yes, though you do have this Resonant Pulse for protection, I'm curious to see what Ashe is going to be able to do in recovery. They haven't blocked off the side camp, of course, so he should be able to get a lot of farm out of this, but I think Dust is going to have such a good game middle that they're going to have to respond to this somehow as SHENZHEN. I don't think they're going to allow this lane to just happen by itself naturally. We'll already see that Ashe is suffering right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to ferry out a lot of regen on top of the bottle, I think, to survive in this mid lane.
That's the thing. I mean, you've got Resonant Pulse, but that's just as like at the early points it's in meld. You don't always see this. But yeah, even putting that extra point of reflection doesn't just. Okay. I should pay attention to that. My bad.
It's
But
just
yeah,
an
no.
Abaddon, it's fine.
Now you see the side blades, but Dust realizing, alright, if I just click him, I'm gonna win the lane. Yeah, with refraction, it doesn't just give you defense, it also gives you instances of bonus damage. And, quite a bit. I mean, it goes from 25 to 50 for 4 hits. That together with the Melt Strike, like, Ash is not gonna have a fun time despite this Resonant Pulse. It just doesn't block nearly enough. And
Definitely
again,
suffering right now.
this is how I feel a lot of the Void Spirit lanes even go. Like, it's not like it's a free lane in a lot of matchups either. Yeah. Not a great lane. Doesn't have the easiest time farming up compared to other spirits. I don't know. Not a fan.
I honestly love your Void Spirit mini rants.
I mean, keep seeing it and always loses. Like.
They're really reliant on him in this game because they need these first rotations to fully pay off with the side of SHENZHEN. On the side lanes, they're not having the best of times either, but this bottom lane is going quite well. As we see, Hara might get killed by Mercy here. The chase down, not enough right clicks. Will he get denied by Roche? Nope, uses the darkness. Haha, got him.
Get the stealth cancelled in the end, but we'll get enough health out of it to live. Nicely done.
I love the fact that this Tidehunter is showing his worth and his value and why they picked him in this lane. It's not just good enough when you pick Tide into a straight king. You see bottom? Ooh. Rotation and movement onto Seed. Ember Spirit coming in with damage. Not going to be able to save the life though of Kazi as they've used this Abaddon. Okay, good damage coming out from that Ember. Nicely done.
Oh, Ash. Not sure about this one. They lived.
Feels bad.
He was super low. He went to the left and then he was doing shenanigans with the creeps. And that was Christ. No, Rubik still hanging around.
So this was already going poorly here, Drag and Drop. It's now even worse. You got brought down. You're very far behind. Top lane though, they're trying to kill TZY. They know he's alone. Fire Snap quickly gets the toss forward onto Kaikyo. The damage does come out. Heals up with the magic stick. He's okay though. Mercy comes back in time. And this is why we love Tidehunter. Anchor Smash makes killing him so difficult.
I am Watermelon. I smash. The lane is one, more or less. Yeah, he sees more last hits than Kaiko right now.
Yeah. I was going to talk about this before we saw that aggression happening bottom, that the fact that he's in this game, he's meant not just to survive his lane, but to put pressure onto Kaikyo and have him missing CS, losing out on the maximum efficiency of the lane. They know that the Ember Spirit is not going to have the easiest time bottom against this Mars, so they can't afford to have a hero who's just going to soak up farm and not put pressure on the opposing carry. They need one to slow down Kaikyo at the same time. Because in this game as well, though Dust is playing through the mid lane, Dust is actually the true carry of the game here for Team Magma. Most of their very high aggression and all their damage is going to be coming in from Dust, at least their major amounts of damage. So this TA, the fact that she's crushing this matchup right now, really going to feed into the favor of Team Magma as time goes on.
As they're hanging around, not a whole lot you can do to set up for kills between Mercies and others. That's a big courier actually is up top. TZY also this time around. Stick charges. Don't tell me he gets to live again. He gets to live again. Oh, we lost his courier. Is gonna life? Not this time.
Oh, I was busy watching that bottom fight. They almost got him. They had the courier kill, and the courier was coming with boots on it and the full magic wand. So there's a really big grab there. And they almost brought him down, but Kazi came back just in time with the Aphotic Shield miscoil. Keeps the Ember Spirit alive. So aggression happening, but it's only really paying off on one side of the map. And at the very, very least in that situation, everywhere, like the fact that Magma don't lose anything top and they don't lose anything down bottom allows them to feel that, you know what, despite meager gains here for SHENZHEN, things are looking a lot better for them on Mars, being able to get the kill on the courier. They're putting a little bit more pressure out onto this mid lane, but well, I say that, but Drink gets killed. Bye.
Yeah, they saw him with the ward. pressure plays. Dust just happen to have a DD rune because why the hell not? Max refraction. 100 bonus damage on a couple of hits. Yeah, that'll happen to a support. You know, it just disappears.
What supports?
The one that's not there anymore.
Might kill TZY in the top lane though. They got the little shredder out onto him, but they're not gonna. You know, this starts to happen after a while. You make so many attempts on a guy's life, you're like, alright, we're tired of this, whatever, dude. Just leave us alone.
No Abba though.
You never understood.
Hanging around a little bit too long. He's not ready for that one. There's Dust. Looking away at a tiny ancient stack here. Hara.
This
This
is
is
huge.
not your side of the map, my dude. Try and buy some time by walking around these trees, but he's still dead, so it's just feeding more money towards Dust.
Oh gosh.
Ruby's gonna stack
Doesn't
up the
interrupt the
ancients
stack
again.
either.
No.
But he did block the camp. He did block the
Oh,
camp.
he did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So block the camp, at least stops some of the progression from Dust, making sure that they won't get much more out of Ancients. And they deny this Arcane Rune right in front of Dust's face, get rid of the sentry, now nobody dies. Like, SHENZHEN is starting to pull it back a little bit here in the farm department. This bottom lane has gone sufficiently poorly as time has gone on. That impact earlier of losing the boots really had an impact on the Ember Spirit's net worth. He's been bullied in the lane since by Seed on the Smars, and Seed's just going to keep chasing him, looking for an opportunity to activate the arena here. He gets debated onto this high ground, but it doesn't really matter because he feels super good about how the game is going, progressing towards getting the Splink Dagger. Kaikyo in the top lane, as because they had to keep moving around with this Rubik to keep assisting either bottom or through middle, what ended up happening is that TZY got left alone in the top lane, and Snapfire, Wraith King were able to take enough advantage. They might even get this kill onto... Okay, no, they're not going to kill Dust. They should just leave this area.
They kill Ash though. Dust and Ash, very close cousins, but Dust misses the melted actually. Oh, he really wants him. Well, he can't get him. Oh, surely he can't get him.
Here comes
Oh
Ember,
god,
though.
that's
Ember
a
can.
Never mind. It's like peekaboo. I have friends, by the way. The power of friendship coming into play.
You know, Dust and Ash might be close cousins, but Ember and Void Spirit are brothers, and we see some young Fratricide showing up from this Ember Spirit, sets them up for the kill, goes back bottom, recovers some of the net worth he was losing out to the Mars from earlier. And Mars spent quite a bit of time not just chasing this Ember Spirit, but also moving about inside the triangle, chasing towards middle, so couldn't really contribute fully to that fight. End up in the situation where this Ember now got a little bit of time to catch up on the CS, closer to this Maelstrom. Seed, although it's gotten a bunch of levels, hasn't really been able to activate on this map. And although they've been playing around Ash through this mid lane, Ash hasn't been involving himself elsewhere on the map, which is what you really want from your Void Spirit early on when you can. They've just been struggling to find an opportunity to do so. Instead, he's been the one that's been brought down, but he's finally going to make a move top here, Dragon Drop. They want to get this kill. I think they got it. TZY, there's no way he lives here, is there? Astral step forward. Scatter Blast, come on. Still alive. Gets the Ravage, and because he saves him. Are you kidding me?
He barely got level 8 from some random creeps dying and skilled up Ravage. He didn't actually have a point saved for it. So it was literally just in the nick of time.
Oh gosh.
Surely next
Oh,
time they
God.
get that kill, right? Surely.
Okay, now he doesn't have Ravage. They just have to go or get all the HP back. Come back for round 2.
What do you make
Oh,
of Seed's
God.
item build, by the way? You've got the 2 braces, which just seems like an old school kind of laning thing, whereas nowadays you see the Helm of Iron Will even just casually.
I don't like the double braces. I don't like bracer in general right now. And I think like it's just unnecessary. It's like gold that could be expended elsewhere. Could have been closer to getting the Splink Dagger. Might have had it fully if he just stuck with gauntlets. You could have already had, like for the same investment in gold that you buy 2 braces for, that like you mentioned is a Helm of Iron Will plus a little bit. So why go for this item?
Yep.
And in this situation, he's going to have to end up selling them both, right? You only have limited space in this game. He needs to put in the Splink Dagger. He'll need BKB. Might need Armlet or whatever. As we'll see him now, at least hopefully getting a kill onto Dust. The arena, do they have enough damage? Ash comes in, and this is not a Tidehunter Dragon drop, so this time they finally get a kill.
This is a Titan though. TZY looking to trade a little bit here as Rubik with the green assimilate, getting forward to get that kill. See, still hanging around. There's a couple more spells to give, and Ash helping out Drink to actually the one to get that last hit on Rubik too. So 2-for-1 trade, all is said and done. It's TZY. They might not be able to kill him, but at least they can keep him away.
He's so tanky. Just does not die. My goodness. But they get the big hero though. Dust getting brought down is very, very huge, and the fact that it's Ash that gets the kill, but they're not done fighting. See, with Inkswell though, is gonna stun multiple. Only the Ember gets caught, but here come Morty's kisses, doing enough damage that they are able to, with the help of Ash, take out Kazi. They steal Phantom's Embrace in the other direction. Ember, does he die? Yep, no option to survive that fight. He ends up getting brought down. Ember Spirit trying to get away, not able to do so. 2-for-1 exchange. And Seed dies, but getting Ember definitely worth it for SHENZHEN.
Ember already having a rough time this game. He only 6th in net worth.
Should look to their top
Still
tower.
400 gold or so behind the Smarts, despite all these shenanigans. It's gonna
Bounty.
need some time to catch up. I mean, at the very least, TA is where she's supposed to be. Dust with a very strong, almost 7k net worth here after the big old dragon.
Yeah.
So we can kind of make up for each other there. As these white at bottom, 4th or 5th time the charm, maybe.
No way.
He's absolutely everything.
No way.
Just like a
No.
new Ravage here.
Okay. You know what's crazy to me, Dragon Drop? Right, I'm looking at Kazi. Kazi, it's your fault that the Tidehunter's dead. Had Kazi TP'd down bottom, this Tidehunter would still be alive right now.
Yeah,
Are
they-
you
they-
kidding me?
They could have made that play. They could have started to teleport in. Like the time it took, the commitment it took for them to actually kill him. He could have gotten the Ravage out there if he had support from his team to actually do anything with it.
Radiant's bottom tower is no more.
But yeah, instead they go for the tower trade.
It's fine. They get the towers. End of the day, it's not that big a deal. They still get to keep the Ravage, have that available for something else on the map. TZY building this Blink Dagger. Not going for that new Aghanim Scepter build. As we see middle, they're jumping onto Ash. He does manage to survive, getting out there to assimilate. And is definitely, I will say that Ash is definitely playing very well. Has recovered magnificently from the horror show that was the early laning phase. Now has some decent amount of net worth. Going for the SHENZHEN Kaya instead of buying Yule's Scepter, recognizing that in this game, Yule's won't really cut it. You need to be able to survive some of this initial spells. And against this damage of the TA, the lockdown of Rubik Tidehunter, the burst of Ember, rather getting as tanky as possible, as early as possible is the way to go. Then you can focus on fighting. So this SNY or SHENZHEN K, like SNK just sounds weird to think of King of Fighters or something, but and it's going to lead him into a good position in the game. It will allow him to fight afterwards without having to worry that I'm way too squishy to stick in the fight. Having learned the lesson from having played Razor, Yules into BKB will not be the option this time for him.
SHENZHEN K still sounds wrong. Like, nope, I'm not gonna say S and K. You gotta say SHENZHEN Kaya. I think.
Yeah. The fourth thing.
Yeah. All right. Stealing a whole bunch of farm here on the dire side of the map. All scouted out though. There's a bunch of dire observer wards here. See, it has a blink there. They could have made play here on
Radiant's
Ember
bottom
Spirit,
tower
but
is in danger.
and just to find his way out. It's starting to catch up a little bit here.
Yep. They are getting on. Alright, look at Kaikyo's build as well. He is building Silver Edge for now, BKB, then we'll come back for the Silver Edge after the Shadow Blade is complete. This will allow him the potential to kill TZY. They are really, really tired of how difficult it is to kill this Tidehunter.
Yeah.
So now they'll have their own ganking squad as well. They're also a little bit worried about how much easier it seemed for Magma to come in onto them. SHENZHEN have been using a lot of resources to get some kills, and they're coming for more down bottom. Aikyo Goes in with Wraith Fire Blast. They throw out more these kisses, but C doesn't get off the arena just yet, so they don't find this kill. Finally, it does come out with Little Shredder. They have the damage, but they miss the spear, so Ravage comes out onto 3. Kazi is here to save them, but Jink going up with the Soul Bind as well. They're putting everything into TZY, and they finally get the kill. Now they also find Kazi as well. Okay, so it turns out that even if Hara is there, or Kazi is there, if they have all 5 heroes, use every single ultimate, then they can finally get the Titan to kill. No problem. Super easy.
Be curious to see him use Ravage there. Like, again, another one of these situations where they could have potentially done something with that if the rest of Magma rotates in, but they don't. So that was just a couple of extra seconds of time bought for farming jungle, I guess. If Spurge gotta get out there, and he does. Or does he? Another run that goes forward.
You and I.
That's kind of close by. Yeah, you can just walk it off, I guess. That was a bit scary. I mean, what are you buying space for here? I guess this later on the Temple South. Oh, he's got the Blink and the Dragon. Let's find the Growth Bow. That's perfect.
Hey. Okay. The game might not be going our way for the last like 2 minutes, but Gaben is at least with us. But I think the main thing they're buying space for is to recover the Ember Spirit. He was having such a poor time, but look where his net worth is now. He's top 3. And yes, they're losing kills all across the map. Kaiko finds another one right now to Mercy. And they're rinsing them all out on the supports. TZY is dangling himself in very dangerous positions, and that's why we see his progression having stalled out. But they're deeming that it's worth it to allow Ember Spirit to play Dota, and he now has a Maelstrom and some BTs, and in tandem with his TA just picking up this Deso Blink Dragon Lance. I do think they feel ready that they can take a fight right now. They're too far away from BKB to fully wait for that item for Ember, but with him about to crack level 14, which will mean the additional points into the Searing Chains, you know, that extra half a second with the bonus damage that's going to come out right now might enable them to start fighting. And they can start thinking about Roshan as well. Dust doesn't want to have all these items and not go into the pit, and is also a little bit too far away from BKB to be comfortable. So they're probably just waiting for this Ravage to come back off cooldown for TCY, then they go. Or they might have to wait for the respawn of Kazi, because probably dies here. Oh no, he's fine.
Is he?
Is he?
He's fine. He's so fine right now. Not for lack of trying, he barely survives this one. And see, that's the Ravage that we're waiting for. Finishing off Seed. That drink, well, Dust unable to click him for a little while here, still slowing him down. Now the one Melt's trying to pull him down from half to 0. Another blink forward here, TCY is not done yet. It is Ember Spirit with stolen inks. Well, not sure if he got much of a stun out there, but Kaiko, okay, that's some big damage on this Ember, turning it around with the full Silver Edge. Doesn't have it from TCY, but just the crits are enough. That secondary kill.
No.
Magma, a bit more than they could chew there. As Kaiko comes into this game in style, and now it's their turn to chase. Kazi is back, and well, you'd have to manually press your ulti if you're broken. He did not get to do that there in time.
Oh gosh. Team Magma, so it's 2 buybacks that come out right now, and it did require the support buybacks from SHENZHEN at first for them to be able to get that kill, but the horror situation ended up happening after they took that initial first fight, which seemed super solid for them. Rightfully so. Dust is like, all right, well, we've killed their Grimstroke, we've killed their Mars, sweet, it's time to go Roche, boys. And Dust goes immediately into the Roshan pit, starts sieging the Roche by himself, but the rest of his team goes forward for the fight, so they don't have the additional damage from Dust, who is most of their damage right now. And a big fight breaks out arena under 3. They've already taken down Kazi. Mercy looking like he's going to end up following, chained to the wall with the Spear of Mars. Ash jumps in, they've gotten the kill. They do lose Seed and the first life of Kaiko for this one, and Dust also takes away the life of Ash. Will lose his life. And Ember Spirit, though, coming back on the backline to clean up on the rest of the heroes here for SHENZHEN. Suddenly, it's only Kaiko that's left, but I say only Kaiko. Kaiko is no small customer. Hanging out and dishing out damage. Fighting alone versus all of them. Armlet active, dishing out these right clicks. Look at Ember Spirit about to die. He wants to render down to the high ground. Armlet suffering in the river. Kaiko eventually does die. A godlike streak ended by the Ember, but made them work for it. 9 heroes fall in this one fight.
I don't know if the replays got all of that fight. No, it actually just got the tail end of it. Yeah, this crazy man fight there from Kaiko. Just takes forever to
Look at him
kill him
go.
in the second life.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
He almost can skill an Ember there. One more random crit. If it doesn't have a random there, he's just gone. Did he barely get the kill because of the under toggles not being enough? And oh my god, what the hell was that?
Dire scanning for enemies.
In this game, a lot more even than the last one. Let's just put it that way. It's
Yep.
still a matter of Roche here to smoke before TCYK comes in, so you can just push out mid a little bit. Establish some control here, some vision. They do reveal themselves. Could be able to finish off Roche pretty quickly, but yeah, still a bit of a risk. They do have Ravage to work with though, so
Feels like whenever we see this matchup, the Tidehunter into Mars, that there comes this point in the game where the team that has Mars wants to make something happen, but they can't because the team that has Tidehunter just sits on this Ravage and sort of dares them to try and do anything funny. Been a bit of a problem here, TZY. He's going to enable his team to take this Roche. It's the first one of the game, so it's just going to be a vanilla Aegis here for Dust, but having that additional protection will still be useful. Not that they've absolutely needed it on the CA. Dust, for the most part, has been fine, you know, but still having that with BKB is going to be a very strong timing here for the CA. And there's no comparable huge power spike coming in right now for SHENZHEN. There's a BKB from Kaikyo being completed up, but it's a little bit further away. This Void Spirit's still not really that close to having the Aghanim Scepter, nor does the Mars have access to BKB just yet, so Magma do have a little bit of time with the double BKBs just completed on both Dust as well as on this Ember Spirit. They are ready to fight here, Dragon Drop. The question is, where do they want to go? And do they just want to take a tier 2 tower in the top lane and set up for the outpost? It looks that way with TZY already shoving in this lane right now. Although they're going to try shove him out on the side of SHENZHEN, but do so very carefully because they've seen what happens when you try to get too aggressive on him.
yeah, you can't easily kill him. And especially if you don't see the rest of his team, like there's always a chance that if you try and kill him, that's where he just stands around with a Ravage. And then if the rest of his team is there, there's a chance for a really powerful team fight, of course. But what you can do on Ashe is what we've just seen him do is just quickly get rid of the creep wave just to stop this push. But oh, they get right on top of him! The Ravage used! Ashe is dead. How?
Ouch. Ouch. Hash.
Threw on a trap and right on the perfect spot. The instant blink lift from Rubik.
Is under attack.
Hashtag calc. You know what it is, Dragon Drop? You were literally just talking about it, right? It's the fact that both teams know that the only play available for Ashe right now is exactly what he was doing. Camping out in the trees, jumping in, clearing out the creep wave, then jumping out. So they realize that, wait a second, if that's his only counterplay, let's use that against them. Let's set up a trap, and they do it. In middle, though, they're going onto the Mars. He tried to jump in onto this Ember Spirit, but Seed instead finds out that they're revealing BKB on Ember. Ends up losing his life. Horror. Feels like there's always one support that dies immediately after Seed. Normally in this game, it has been Drink, but now it's poor Horror's turn. Gets taken for a ride. Ember Spirit very happy to reveal the BKB in that fashion. You know, didn't have to show it in the last big fight. Gets to show it off now. Good times to be on the side of Team Magma, and they're gonna push this tier 2 tower like it's nothing. Should be able to take the outpost afterwards. Then you just move top. Get that outpost for yourself as well. Life is feeling very nice for themselves at the moment.
Just go away, have a creep wave here. We're unable to really slow it down. Wonderful movement there from Magma. As I say, that dust of course blinks right into the trees.
Oh no,
and
Kaiko.
he actually still almost gets a kill on Kaiko with double jump there from Mercy, stealing that ult from the Void Spirit. As we'll finally give it life. See from the arena at BKB. Dust. It's a list perhaps here, but okay, just clicking away a drink. Ghost Scepter will keep him safe. Now, flipping back towards Seed. Blink Ball from TZY. No Ravage, but just a little bit of extra slow and extra nukes to finish off Seed. Meanwhile, Ember's just getting a kill of his own. Drink And all the way back to base just to die in front of his tier 3. And now, forget the outpost. Just get a freaking tier 3.
Wow. They're just going for the jugular here, directly for this win for Team Magma. Lane of Raxos coming up. That was, like, SHENZHEN really tried to retreat from that, and they did their best to salvage what was a very poor situation. Kaikyo running into the high ground, getting caught out in that situation. Like, they get, you know, sometimes you spend so much time being allowed to play in your triangle that when it gets taken away, you sort of lose the rhythm of the game, and SHENZHEN get caught in that situation. They can't play top, so they're like, well, maybe we can play safely in the triangle. Nope, nope, you can't do that either. Team Magma, they just take control of the entire map right now. And SHENZHEN, you saw them have the idea to flee as, oh my goodness, Ash, no option to flee because the damage. Woo! Okay, that's an Aghanim Scepter reveal as well from this Ember Spirit.
That's 1300 from the Ember Spirit. I was thinking, oh yeah, it must have been like a big melt strike, you know, from DPC, but no, it was Ember doing that damage.
Yep. Yep. Ags, level 20, additional Sleight of Fist, full Flame Guard, and a Nether Shawl. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
Well, Step Summary doesn't work for me, unfortunately, right now. Sometimes does, but this time it doesn't. Now it is. I just have to click it a million times. That's fine. Yeah. Telekinesis into a root that was like, what, less than 2 seconds.
Remnant forward. And he had the axe, so that's double Remnant forward, not just a single one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of pain in a very short span of time. And now this Ember Spirit, him and his crew are setting up to win this game and secure this 2-0. Seed has only BKB, Kaikyo has Silver Edge, the Armlet, and BKB, but there's no Deso, there's no AC. So there's no real big burst physical damage. Sure, you have this break mechanic that you can apply, but it's actually kind of difficult to right-click heroes anymore. That previous defense that we saw in the river, that to complete raid boss style of Wraith King, not really going to be available for him anymore. Despite having this cleave talent, these heroes from Magma are fairly difficult to kill. All of them now, including this Ember. And TZY has only gotten stronger. Has the Aghanim Scepter now, so that AoE gush, more stats, an Elven Tunic to boot. How do you kill these heroes, especially with both the Blink Dagger being available for this young Rubik, so he can stay back, doesn't have to get far forward, and having access to get bad end. And I say that as Rubik sets up for a kill on the high ground.
Alright, yeah, that was quicker than I expected. We sit on with Aegis right now on Magma. So I think that'll give them a
Okay, I've got a
What's
question
the-
for you then, Dragon Trap.
like in German we would say Galgenfrist.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if there's an English equivalent for that. It's basically just I'm gonna look it up actually.
While you're looking that up, I've got a conundrum for you, right? Would you rather that they have an Aegis TA, or would you rather that they have a double damage TA with the Daedalus about, like the Daedalus already delivered and just the double damage ready to be activated?
Why not both? Can't have both, but yeah, it's. I always want to say with the DD, right? Because you just you have a bit of extra safety already from the BKB, from the ABBA. This kind of damage up. I mean, it doesn't even have the Daedalus swapped in right now. I mean, he's gonna swap it in once you. Yeah, you go. Once he activates the DD, they want to take a fight here. If they can, if they find an opening, Seed, smoke up will break, gets it out, and outside of the arena, that can't actually find him right now, but neither can Seed. His team did not follow him. They're just like, nope, not doing that, you're crazy, dude, what the hell?
Ash, though.
Everyone except Ash, who's also crazy, as Mercy trying to chase and then get the vision from the jump forward. What a god play.
Oh no. Oh no. Just, oh no. That wasn't supposed to happen. That was definitely not supposed to happen, but it happens anyway. Ash, like you said, everyone else got the memo to flee. He gets left out, and he also gets left out of this game without buyback Dragon Drop. How on earth do we mount this defense without him? With him, it's already quite difficult, but not having access to the one hero that can open up fights for you. We already saw just now that Seed had been jumped in, used BKB Arena to literally no effectiveness, can't do anything, but TZY gets off the big Ravage. Super shots from Tusk. They've already taken down Horror. First life from Calcul is gone. Needs to run away with this BKB, but now suddenly you don't have BKB, so what can you actually do to defend your base here as they take it almost casually on the side of Team Magma?
Whatever spells they can, trying to slow them down, but still
No creep wave.
respecting actually.
No creep wave.
No creep wave. They're respecting the lack of. I mean, there's a creep wave in mid. There's no backdoor. Guess they want Roche. I think it should be up by now, but it's not quite. Yeah, it's a very long respawn. 40 seconds still on the clock. So SHENZHEN, they have another opening here right now, actually. They need to get something out of this, though. Like, they don't find it here. The counter smoke from Magma. It's no Ravage. 90 seconds. He's not going to have that available for this fight. Just going to have to be your right clicks. That is. What? Oof. Yikes. Oof. Look away, children. This is not for you anymore. Fight's not over. Kaiko. Booted up. Bit of damage being done. Cooked away. Trying to run the gauntlet here back towards the base. Doesn't quite get it. Can he? Giving TP. That'll be enough. But this is team. Snapfire also dead.
Oh my goodness. Him and Seed had to BKB TP out, so now they don't have BKB for the final fight of this game.
That looked a bit weird. Speared outside of his own arena.
For a second I thought, I was like, wait, what? Is this a bug? Why is he not getting hit on the wall? Like, oh wait, that's not his arena.
Doubt Mercy again is there, I dare you.
Oh my gosh. Mercy, my bad. Pick Rubik first phase, all you want, G. You know, do you?
Oh boy. Yeah, this game was a lot closer for a lot longer, but now we're at a point where apparently Kepler Assassin can do 1500 damage in a single hit on Pilgrim Stroke, so bit overkill.
And we spoke about this, right? In the draft about how for the idea of getting kills for SHENZHEN is like this spell has to connect into this spell, has to connect into that spell, has to connect into Wraith King hitting you. For Team Magma, it's Ember Spirit jumps you or TA jumps you and you get ravaged, or somebody lifts you and you're dead. And we're just seeing this get more and more the case as time goes on. Practically nothing that they can do on the side of SHENZHEN. They don't even need to play with that much strategy, honestly, from the side of Team Magma. Just somebody find a hero, suddenly they'll be dead soon thereafter. Dust is just doing so much in this game. And it really is getting to that point where it's feeling a little bit ridiculous. And SHENZHEN, they're still trying to fight here. They're looking for a kill bottom. Do they get this? Ash and Kaiko looking for the Ember and they've got him. 100 seconds, no buyback. Okay. SHENZHEN showing us a new look here, but Dust coming in to look for revenge. Ravage comes out from TZY, catches on to 3. They find the arena only onto Mercy, but they don't have enough damage to kill these heroes just yet. Mercy finally does die, Drink gets brought down at the same time as Dust and TZY now want to run. The BKBs are running lower at the duration and they're finished. Morty's Kisses coming out onto Dust. They take away the first life. Buyback on the Rubik. And are they really going to try for this proper kill on Dust? He blinks away. Scatterblast won't be there in time. No Shredder will bring down Kazi on the Abaddon. And they've fled far as they can. They're inside the base right now trying to chase Dust. They just can't catch him. It's a little bit too dangerous to play into this area. But okay, a little bit of life being shown right now by SHENZHEN. Seed forced into a BKB.
Oh!
Doesn't matter because Dust sends him back the hard way. Express trip into the fountain with the backstabs from the TA.
Put the seed into the ground where he belongs. There's Dust. Try to chase him down inside the base, but unable to lend spells. So getting punished for it with backstab. And yeah, that was quite something. It was maybe the best fight that SHENZHEN could have hoped for. Just getting the jump on the Ember Spirit, which is a huge part of the damage output. It's like they kind of need both of their heroes alive to really have a viable team fight. Yeah, both TA and Ember. Going a bit too far there might have cost them a lot more. I mean, this bottom lane, these two towers will be gone. sooner rather than later.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Gonna
That's
have
just
one
so
more high
scary.
ground fight. I don't know about this one, Ash!
Dire's bottom tower
Lift it up,
is under
but
attack.
not enough burst. And the follow-up is Echo. I don't think this is a good place for them to fight. SHENZHEN realizes too, I think, but too late. He gets his ultimate taken away. That's a 60-second window.
Dude, Kaikya has no chill. He just runs up and is like, what? He literally gave away a reincarnation life for a D ward on the high ground. Are you kidding me? He's like, whatever, I'll wait for the next one. And they end up losing this lane or this tier 2 tower down bottom. Only one lane of racks left. Scary situation to be in, especially because the way this game is right now, there are no buybacks on 3 of their heroes. Or at least, at the very least, the 2 very close to the gold that they need to come back to the buybacks. Void Spirit fairly far away. It's going to be a bit of a problem before he arrives. At the same time, though, they need to really be careful about how they engage these fights. We've seen how quickly Magma can just melt their heroes. Ash in particular will really be grateful to get this Aghanim shot. That additional command ring will be so useful just for a bit more confusion in these fights.
Yep.
Honestly, it feels like him just jumping in and distracting Magma. At times, it's all been that's keeping them in the game. Because instead of hitting buildings, they're trying to hit him.
Yeah.
Somehow buying space and time by dangling his life on the line.
Never refuse gold. Given.
Alright, that's all you got. It's either his life or the life of the last set of racks. That would make the game even harder than it already is. Spell
Dire's
Prison now.
bottom tower is under attack.
Then walking out under the cover of smoke.
To restore the void within.
Win a team fight here, they'll find a DD rune. That's always nice. Just
That
wanted
is,
to take it away from Magma, but Kaiko can also make good use of it.
Okay.
Gonna find any
was
heroes
about
that
to-
should have the ability to farm up some of these creeps to get these next set of items, right? Surely. I'll just go back home, alright.
Okay, cool. It's a bit unfortunate that Kaikyo wasn't carrying the bottle at that point, so couldn't reserve the DD rune for later. And he only had a magic one. I thought they were going to try to swap that out when he was coming over. Would have been very useful because now Magma will just wait out this timing here on the high ground. Hoping that it was just Kaikyo that grabbed it. He reveals middle. So now they know. Look how quickly they just back off. They're like, yeah, we're ahead, but we don't really have an appetite to fight a double damage Wraith King. We'll leave y'all alone for a little bit of time. However, SHENZHEN, that's all they're playing for at this point. It's just time, and more time. They're getting closer towards having all their buybacks online again. They only have 2 outstanding on the Snapfire and the Void Spirit, but they're very close. An additional round of bounties would help a lot, but obviously they cannot access any areas with there's bounties safely. So they'll have to do it the hard way, try to farm this back up. Ash can get there quickly, a little bit more difficult for Hara. Might be forced into last minute selling an item, but we'll see how things go as Ash has his remnants stolen away, and Kaikyo's being annoyed by it in this mid lane. And you can just almost feel this tension in this game that SHENZHEN know if they get caught out once more before they're really ready, the game can just end immediately. But Magma are also not in the safest position. Both TZY as well as the Ember Spirit, neither of them have buyback right now, and they're very far away from having it. So if they go for this aggressive play and they end up losing the fight, they could end up quickly losing buildings. Because if SHENZHEN actually get an opportunity without interruption to put Kaikyo onto the buildings with this AC and the skeletons, they can actually take a lane of racks very quickly on the side of SHENZHEN.
Yep. Magma not really in a position where they have to go. Like, they're still building the lead, they're still farming up more of the map. Keep an eye on that. Wraith King's the one hero that can probably send out like this because he does have that security for the second line. He does get to live his first one here, but Seed not so lucky. Bulwark will keep him safe, only just. But he's gonna have to take some time to recharge. You have a glyph available. Slow this one down.
That's a BKB charge gone.
Kaido lifted up, so don't get to follow up some of the Tidehunter. Very hard to keep locked down anyway. Is a lot of magic damage here to drink. He just falls apart, bites back immediately. Rabbit catches a couple, and now the Shivas control him up even further. Ash in the middle of this one has to lead and recharge. before he can return, but where's the damage gonna come from? They're kiting out the Wraith King, no one else can provide it. Follow-up stuns being thrown at him, and that's his second life already? What? He's buying back, so that's the third one. As Magma bring their full force to bear. The Seed, oh god, he's trying to run away, he has to turn around to not die to the last right click here, but the reacts through all of this is being threatened. Ash barely gets to live. Another jump on the side to finish up Seed. Just so much fire, big old storm of it being thrown away, and the defensive telekinesis actually to keep the Ember Spirit safe. So that's gonna be the Mega Creeps.
Oh, easy megas at that, as they do take it without much difficulty on the side of Magma. Chasing back everybody from SHENZHEN. We really see as well Kaikyo struggling with the decision not to have purchased Blink Dagger in this game. Even after buying back, he just can't get into the fights. One thing we really didn't speak about is how mobile these heroes are versus what SHENZHEN have to offer. Only this Void Spirit can get forward easily. Mars can, but we stopped seeing this Blink Dagger forward a long time ago because of just how quickly he dies to dust. So he can't get forward. This Wraith King just has to lumber as slowly as he can because they have the gem reveal on the side of Team Magma. This game is just too difficult. Now they're going for the last fight here. Wow! The damage from Dust. Two heroes gone in a flash of an eye. That's the first life from Kaikyo. Second life is not going to be long for this world. Even through the BKB, it doesn't matter. That's a straight up dieback. Ash dies elsewhere in the river. And they are just about to end this game. GG gets called and Dust finishes up a triple kill. SHENZHEN, smacked on the nose. Dreams of upper division gone, but Team Magma show that they are still contenders here, Jack.
That was beautiful. I mean, I was gonna say someone called 0800 Nahas as the DD in front of the Roche pit. Didn't even need to use it for Roche. Just like, oh, they're sitting next to each other. They've been stunned. All right, let me just blink in, get those big hits, insta kill 2 heroes. That was ridiculous performance here. Again, this game, if you look at the graphs, a lot even for a lot longer. But then something just broke. What happened there?
Which fight was that? So if I remember correctly, I think the thing that really broke this game apart just like completely, where SHENZHEN really didn't have a chance anymore to keep going, was, so we see them farming, you know, the map is not really going in their favor, you know, Dust especially is getting a little bit out of control. But then Dust gets that triple combo, you know, the Blink, the Deso with the Dragon Lance, and they just start going from kill to kill to kill to kill, completely unimpeded. We stopped, like, TZUI spent a lot of time dying, right? This was the part of the game where it was very even, was the time where they were farming up that BKB as well to come back for the Ember Spirit. But once they had it, they were like, sweet, we've got BKB on this hero, BKB on Dust, Blink, Deso, let's go and make things happen. And they just kept doing that pretty much forever. One of the big things as well that kept being a problem was they just had no damage outside of Kaikyo, but Kaikyo was the last person to ever get to a fight, right? Ash and Seed can get there very quickly, throw out the arena, use all the Void Spirit spells, but they have to get out just as quickly as well. They can't stick around to assist the Wraith King. So by the time he lumbers up, he shows up, he's like, where is everybody? Dead or fleeing? And nobody can really assist you in that situation. And it's a lot easier for these Team Magma heroes to stick around because they can get in and out together, especially with how much space TZY is buying, how much time Kazi is buying them, and just how effective Mercy was at just interrupting them and making life complicated. And these first 20 minutes, here we're still seeing the point where things are still looking even, but look how much commitment is still costing from SHENZHEN to get any of these kills versus what starts to happen with Magma. We'll see their highlights coming up and how much more quickly they get their engagements.
That is Seed, just beautiful Ravage. It was the first really good one. The other two before that were just wants to delay. This one setting up for a couple of kills. Hell yeah. This was when the Silver just came out, so SHENZHEN was able to find a small power spike with that. That was a crazy fight where almost everyone dies at the end, so we're gonna see it in the full. This is absolutely ridiculous. Dust stays alive for so much longer. Bring down Seed, bring down Kaikyo's first life. Ash kinda running around, gets nuked down. Dust ends up dying here on Kaikyo's respawn, and it's just 2 against 1. It's like, oh yeah, they should be able to finish him, right? And then Actually, he's doing a lot of damage. He's right-clicking for a lot. Ember Spirit, oh god, he barely lives. TZY, is he gonna die? Oh my god, he's actually gonna die. I'm the target. That's like, unfortunate.
This fight was also terrible for them. They BKB reveal, and this is actually where it starts to go wrong. This BKB just changed everything. This fight, they die instantly. They realize they have no counterplays, and they just go down so quickly, and they just get chased all over the map, time after time. We started seeing as well at Kaikyo and Seed, the same situation as we saw in game number 1, forced into a place where the only time you're activating BKB is just to TP out. This fight, though, looked like the game might turn, but even under these conditions, without having the Ember Spirit, with Ravage not really being available, Dust was able to, with some help of course, but for the most part, this is just the damage of the TA that keeps them properly in this game here. They back away from this, they take the first life away from the Aegis, but life number 2, always going to be a difficult prospect. And they really did their best. They chased super far forward for this one. And I think this is where we also start to see just how dangerous Dust can be even through BKB. But at this point, it's too late. This damage is just too much. The Ravages, once they hit, if there's at least going to be a hero or 2 dead or everybody else having to retreat, and there's not much follow-up. Look, Kaikyo's here. Like, guys, team, can I get some help? Nope, you can't because we're all too scared.
It's a ridiculous amount of damage. The W Ravage was just a telekinesis catching both of them, and they instantly disappear. Of course, Gaiku comes back, but it doesn't take a long time for the rest of his team to also be out of juice. And his second life also not lasting all that long. So Dust, yeah, I can go with this one.
Yeah.
Everyone did their job, but Dust was really bringing it home.
17, 2, and 15, 784 GPM, 58,000 hero damage. Just absolutely insane performance coming in from Dust. And this Templar Assassin really showed them, and we saw already from the laning phase how well he was doing. And game 1 also showed us, right? We're talking about how he's so good at being able to transition from getting farm in the lane to being able to accomplish fighting without letting up on the farm. And in this game, we're also talking about he's the position 1, he's the carry from the mid lane. Despite them, they just laned him there because they're like, this is the best possible start for you. And you love to see this when your core players reward the faith you put in them by just putting the whole team on their back, making life a lot easier. The fact, you know, when you're playing Tidehunter and you can be confident in wasting Ravages because you're like, as long as I'm wasting the enemy team's time, it's acceptable because this TA is going to carry me to victory eventually. This Ember Spirit will catch up. He doesn't have to catch up a lot, but just enough to allow Dust to also play Dota was wonderful to see from Team Magma, and a very solid series from them. And I really do think that the rest of their games, they only have one. Wait, this is their last game. No, they still have one left. It is now going to be... don't they play Extreme Gaming as their last one? Or is it SAG that they still need to play?
They play Aries, actually.
Aster Aries.
Aster Aries. Who have been... They looked pretty good early on, but then they just, like, fell off super hard. I think the White Album missing still is starting to get to them.
So if they play Aster Aries as their last series, I think then they do actually have a very good shot of going then 5-2 or 6, because they're at 4-2 right now, right? So that last series is very winnable for them, especially with the performance like what they showed us here. Good drafting, good understanding, both times, right? Different styles of game that they played, but nonetheless very effective across both styles. So looking forward to see what they have the next go around here for themselves, and a very well deserved 2-0 from them.
It also depends on what YBB does, because YBB has to play against SAG and SHENZHEN. If they win both, they're at 6-1. Extreme playing against CDEC later today, that should be a victory, so that's another one. And then Extreme versus SAG. If Extreme also wins that, then they're also 6-1, and the 5-2 will not be enough. So, they're gonna need Extreme or YBB to lose, and then maybe there's potential for some tiebreakers, which I'm always excited about. But, yeah, it's pretty cool that we don't have the answers to these questions yet, though, right? Those are questions that will have to be determined partly later today and partly on Friday. Those are the last 2 remaining match days. We're going to say goodbye now, and Ricky and Neff will be taking over for the remainder of today. There'll be SAG versus YBB coming up. Definitely do not miss that one. It's bound to be a good match. And then CDC versus XG. Next match will start in just over an hour, so we're going to be sticking to the schedule. Plenty of time for you to get some breakfast or lunch or whatever it is you eat where you are right now at this time. So until then, Snare, any last quick words for the people?
Quick words,
那只是
tell someone that you love
之前
them in your life,
状态
drink
不
some
好
water,
想换换
go
位
touch
置
some
看看
grass,
有没有
and
效果
please,
结
please,
果发
please
现
make
这
sure
个
every single
办
time that you
法
play
不
Dota,
是
at the end of the day, show
没
some
有没有什么
sportsmanship
效
and
果
camaraderie
呢
to
就
your
不要
comrades, to your
大
colleagues, to the
概
people that love this
以
game
后
just as
还
much
是
as you
排
do.
也会
Yeah.
打
Go
赢
ahead and follow
这样
Snare and his wholesomeness on Twitter at SnareGrodamus. You can also follow me at DragonDropDota if you so choose, and also definitely follow PWRD Esports and PWRD_Dota2 to keep up with all the information about Division 2, which is about to close, of course, but Division 1 coming up in January.
嗯，好，
And also
好，我们这里
dpc.pwesports.cn is where you can find all of the information that you could possibly want. Again, a next match going to be SAG versus YBB starting in about an hour with Riki and Neff. And from us, we say goodbye.